Shri Gurubhyo Namaha, Standard 9 English. Today we will be studying tenses, and as you know, tenses refers to the time of action, and tenses can be grouped into three kinds: present tense, past tense and future tense. So let's begin with present tense. Present tense can be classified into four forms. The first form is present simple. So what's the rule for present simple? Yes, subject plus first form of the verb. We use simple present when we talk about habits, routines, facts, universal truths, etc. For example, I play football every day. So this is a routine that he plays football every day. And when we talk about a fact, for example, she works as a trainer. This is a fact about her life, so we are writing here, she works as a trainer. So you can see a difference that we are using yes here in the second example but not in the first example. So you have to remember that with I, you, we, they, we do not write the word yes with the verb, but with he, she, it, we always add yes. Next is present continuous. So what's the rule for present continuous? Yes, subject plus is or are or am plus first form of the verb, and with that we add ing to it. So how do we get to know where we have to use is, where we have to use are, and where we have to use am? It's very simple. With I we use am, with he, she, it we use is, and with you, we, they we use are. So present continuous is used when we are talking about the actions which is happening right now at the time of speaking. So the example is, they are having lunch. I am singing at church today. And the other way of using it is when we are talking about changes that are taking place right now. For example, the stocks are dropping constantly due to the economy. The next one is present perfect. The rule for present perfect is subject plus has or have plus verb. With that we use past participle or the third form of the verb. So with I, you, we, they we use have. With he, she, it we use has. So the present perfect is used when we are talking about experiences and also about the recent actions or events. For example, she has watched that show 3 times this week. So this is an experience of her during her week. And the other example is, he has drunk tea. So this is a recent action. Next is present perfect continuous tense. So present perfect continuous tense is used when we are talking about the actions that started in the past and are still continuing. And the rule is subject plus has or have been plus first form of the verb, and with that we use ing. For example, it has been raining since 4 a.m. He has been playing football since he was a child. So this is an action which started in the past and it's still going on. The next is past tense, under which comes past simple. So we use past simple when we are talking about completed actions in the past, and the rule for it is subject plus verb. We use third form of the verb. Example, he played violin. So you have to remember that with irregular verbs there are no rules for making them past form. For example, come, ate, went, we are not adding word ed with the words like come, eat and go. For example, he ate an apple. Next is past continuous. Past continuous is used when we are talking about an unfinished ongoing action in the past plus finished action, and the rule for it is subject plus was or were plus verb, and with that we use ing. So how do we get to know where do we have to use was and where do we have to use were? It's very simple. With I, he, she, it we use was. With you, we, they we use were. For example, when the phone rang, she was writing a letter. And other example is, we were sitting outside while the planes were flying overhead. Next is past perfect. The rule for past perfect is subject plus had plus verb, and we use third form of the verb. For example, she has met him before the party. The plane had left by the time I got to the airport. The next is past perfect continuous. So where do we use past perfect continuous? We use it when we are talking about a continuous action in the past before another finished action. The rule for is subject plus had been plus verb, and we use ing. So the example is, I had been working at the company for 5 years when I got the promotion. Here the finished action is I got the promotion, and the continuous action which was in the past before the finished action is I had been working at the company for 5 years. And the other example is, Mithila had been walking 3 miles a day before she broke her leg. Here the finished action is she broke her leg, and the continuous action is action which was in the past before the finished action is Mithila had been walking 3 miles a day. The next is future tense. So in future tense, the first form of tense is future simple, and the rule for it is subject plus will or shall plus the first form of the verb. For example, he will come here tomorrow. He will go to England in the next week. Next is future continuous. We use future continuous when we are talking about ongoing actions in the future, and the rule for it is subject plus will be plus verb, and with that we use ing. For example, Eric will be running a marathon this Saturday. And next is they will be making preparations for their exams. So this is an ongoing action in the future. The next is future perfect. Future perfect is used when we are talking about completed actions in the future, the actions which will be complete in the future, and the rule is subject plus will have plus verb, and we use the third form of the verb. For example, mom will have cooked our favorite meal. So this is a completed action in the future. The other example is the plant will have grown by then. Next, future perfect continuous. So we use future perfect continuous when we are talking about ongoing actions in the future, but when the duration is also mentioned. And the rule for future perfect continuous is subject plus will have plus been plus verb, and we use ing with it. So the example is, at 5 o'clock I will have been waiting for 30 minutes. And the other example is, in November I will have been working at my company for 3 years. So here the duration is mentioned 30 minutes, 3 years. So with this we have come to the end of the topic. I hope you all understood. Thank you.